What is heartbreak? Heartbreak is a change that you didn't want. If you don't know me, my name's Deborah. I'm a transformational healer and intuitive coach, and I work a lot with clients and groups in relationship transformation, relationship healing. And when I heard that statement that heartbreak is the change that you didn't want, I really wanted to do a video on this because heartbreak comes in many forms. It could be a romantic relationship breakup, it could be the death of a parent, of a friend, of a loved one, spouse, whoever. It could be the loss of a career, a job, a house, whatever it is that creates the heartbreak. It's the change that you didn't want. So when I contemplated that, I was thinking of my own experiences of heartbreak and what I felt, and also what others feel when I'm working with them energetically. And it's a feeling of feeling paralyzed. It's feeling stuck and paralyzed and not able to move because you're in complete shock and because it's something you didn't want. And there's this resistance to what is. And so we can spend many days, weeks, months, years holding on to that paralyzed feeling because we are resisting what is. And I know that's hard to hear. And I know that heartbreak is, like I said, comes in different forms. Especially, I've experienced tragic situations where the only way I could get through is the universe holding my heart and carrying me through while I was going through the crisis. And it's the most powerful feeling, actually, when you really turn to your true self, the universe, and you go, oh my God, this is so heartbreaking. Hold my heart, please. And whenever I have either friends or clients who are going through something really intense with heartbreak, I always tell them, let God hold your heart. Just let them hold your heart in the moment that you can hardly even take a breath. So I'm sure everyone has experienced this where it's, you can't even breathe, right? When I found out last year that one of my close friends passed away, in that moment, I just sat in my car for probably a good 40 minutes, just stunned and frozen. And so heartbreak is not only losing something or losing a person or losing a job or whatever, it's losing all your hopes and dreams surrounding that, right? If it was a romantic relationship, all your plans, all your hopes, your dreams, your future, everything. And it's huge. It's a huge loss. And then on top of that, what happens, especially in any kind of relationship, whether it's romantic or you've had some kind of blow up with someone and you're feeling this heartbreak, there's a lot of ruminating, the psychological suffering, where we have so many thoughts going through our head that we're trying to figure everything out. Like, what did I say? What did they say? I could have said this better. I could have done it better. They could have done it better. All this ruminating, right? It creates even more suffering than what you're feeling feeling of the actual incident, right? So it's the psychological suffering, which is the mind. The mind is feeding you all of these thoughts. Then, on top of that, your identity is attached to the relationship. So, let's say you've been married for a long time, your identity is wrapped into this relationship or this career. Maybe you got laid off or something, and you're just like, that's it's just like compounding, right? So, how do you how do you get out of this heartbreak? How do you heal? How do you become peaceful again and take a breath and be excited about life? Um, so the way I have done it myself is through release work. Release, rewrite, and receive. That's my tagline. Release the stories, release the thoughts about myself, about what happened, about them, release all of the ruminating. Easier said than done, but it's very powerful to be able to do that. And sometimes it takes time, it takes a while to really sort through those thoughts. And I had a situation where it wasn't romantic, but it was with someone that I had a kind of a fallout with. And I really released those. I really sorted through and saw my part and what they said and what their complaints were and what my complaints were, all that stuff. And finally, it boiled down to, oh, wow, that person just wants to love me and wants me to love them back. It's really, really, really simple. It just went down to the simplicity of that. And once I got to that point and released all these thoughts, the harmony was restored. I could feel it in the field. And so and then when I saw that person, it was absolutely as if nothing had happened. It was even better. So, and when you get yourself out of the way in a situation like that where there's disharmony in a relationship, and you really see your part and you get yourself out of the way, then you see things clearly and you see the truth, and you can really understand them even better because you aren't reacting and you aren't taking things personally. It's amazing. It's very freeing. So that's the way out. It's the most direct way that I have found for me. May not be for you, but for me is to really just go to the source, the thought. So what is releasing? Releasing is releasing the thoughts. And what are thoughts? Thoughts are sounds, sensations, and images. That's all they are. Sounds, sensations, images. So you have a thought, you either hear it or you see it or you feel it, or all of those things. So you are taking a step back and you're looking at that and you're like, okay, I can either really engage in this thought or I can take a step back and stop identifying with it, because releasing is bringing you to freedom. What is freedom? Freedom is your beingness. And if you listen to Eckhart Tolle, he talks about being in the beingness. And then there's the mind, and the mind is, all the thoughts that we're identifying with. So you're taking a step back and you're releasing those thoughts. It takes practice if you haven't done it before. So what happens after you release? Then you start rewriting the script. So sometimes that takes time too, but you start to, especially in my case, like with having a heartbreaking breakup in a relationship, I started writing a new script of what I want. What is it that I want? And that also helps you out, pull you out of the heartbreak, because it gives you hope and inspiration. And you start to think more about what you want instead of what you don't want, because when you are thinking of what you don't want, it's just ruminating, right? I don't want that again. That was really painful. I wish he would have said that. I wish I would have said that. I wish I would have done things differently. Oh my God. So you're always thinking you wish it were different. And you can't change the past, but you can change the now, which is also the future. That's Eckhart Tolle. Like, the past and the future is happening right now. So you just start writing a different script. And so when you receive, that means you're just receiving the magic of releasing and rewriting. And I know it sounds like work, but it's not. It's it becomes natural to release and rewrite and then receive. So heartbreak is an invitation for you. The heartbreak is an invitation for transformation. So again, if you have had a breakup with someone and, a couple years later, you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad that happened. It was so painful, but my God, if that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have been doing that. So in my case, I suffered a lot of heartbreak. I had the death of my mom almost 3 years ago. I had cancer and I had a breakup of a relationship. And so there was a lot of heartbreak. And but this was an invitation for transformation. Things were not going as planned, and it pushed me into a new timeline, uh, a new life. And I kicked and screamed on the way to the new life, the new timeline. But it was the best thing that could have ever happened. Not losing my mom. That's not the best thing, but that you just don't know what is around the corner. And so, so the more that you release, rewrite, and receive, the more you're open, your capacity becomes more open for the love and the health and the wealth that you are, because you already are everything that you want. And a lot of people want a healthy, wonderful, partnership. And yes, and we should, and we deserve it. Um, some of us want to be financially independent and financially free, and some of us want to have perfect health, or we want all of it. And the thing is that we already are all of that. We do affirmations, we do energy healing activations, we do all these things to access that real true being that we are, that is perfect, the perfect health, perfect wealth, perfect love. We have to convince our mind of what our soul already knows. So this is how to get out of heartbreak. It's one way. It may not be your way, but it is one way that has worked for me and continues to work in my life. So if this message resonates with you and you'd like more support, I do private sessions. I also have a private Facebook group you can join. That will be in the description in this video. And I will be going live tomorrow at 2 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. And you can ask questions, or we can have a discussion about what I've talked about and some other topics. So I hope that you like and subscribe this video and join my community.